We're looking at the latest development in the Epstein saga. Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell's team has pushed for the Supreme Court to review her conviction.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And it's not just a standard appeal. Her attorney filed a reply brief in a bid to overturn everything, right?
Right. And what's really striking is that this move comes at a time when the legal and political arenas are buzzing about connections with Trump, Epstein, and all those high profile elements.
Yep. I mean, it's like a twist in the plot, isn't it? I mean, heck, we're talking about potential presidential pardons and deep government meetings with the DOJ, which really complicates the picture.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that the MSNBC video brought in some heavy hitters. There were legal commentators like Lisa Rubin and former federal prosecutor Paul Butler, and even insights from the Punchbowl News co founder Jake Sherman.
Mm-hmm. So, on one level, it seems this appeal might be viewed as a legal strategy to rework the narrative, right? Someone wants to challenge the conviction on procedural or evidentiary grounds.
Yeah, it's a challenge to the conviction. The brief argues that maybe, just maybe, some errors might have occurred along the way, or at least that the broader implications, with the DOJ meetings and potential pardon discussions, warrant a fresh look by the highest court.
Yeah, but here's where I'm a bit stumped. Don't you think that this kind of appeal might just be a stalling tactic? I mean, whether there's genuine merit or not, the timing with all these political tags suggests there's more than just legal strategy in play.
Well, it's like you got to consider that behind every legal move, there's also a political narrative, right? And this case has always been, well, intertwined with politics. The tags with Trump, Epstein, and Maxwell have kept the public, and frankly, the legal community, on their toes.
Mm-hmm. True, the political undertones are undeniable. And even if the legal arguments sound somewhat technical, they inevitably get lost in broader political debates. But do you think that maybe this appeal could really open the door for something as drastic as a presidential pardon?
That's a really interesting angle. I mean, there's been a lot of chatter about how a potential pardon might shift the public's perspective. It would almost like rewrite the narrative that's been built up over years.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like this case is a litmus test for whether political influence is seeping deeper into judicial processes, and if the Supreme Court even agrees to consider it, that in itself is a bold statement.
And let's not forget that this isn't just about overturning a conviction. It's also about sending a message to political players and legal institutions alike. It's a high-stakes chess game where every move is scrutinized by the public.
Right. And what's interesting to me is that the video also highlights Maxwell's recent meetings with the DOJ. It sort of underlines that there's an ongoing dialogue behind closed doors that the public barely gets a glimpse of.
Absolutely. And those meetings might be crucial. If her legal team can pin down any irregularities or procedural oversights during those discussions, it might justify the appeal.
Mm-hmm. But here's a thought. Isn't there a risk that by constantly nurturing these appeals, the narrative could be seen as, well, perpetually unresolved? Like, aren't we just keeping the case in the limelight without a definitive closure?
That's a valid point. It could definitely be perceived as dragging on for political leverage rather than pure justice. This tension between real legal errors and the optics of political scandal is what makes the case so controversial.
And the public opinions are split, no doubt. I mean, you have people who argue that if there's any doubt, the case should be re-examined, while others say that reopening it might undermine the finality of the judicial process.
Exactly. And this dynamic is amplified by the media frenzy. The MSNBC video, for instance, doesn't just state the facts. It also frames the narrative to highlight connections to broader political discussions.
Right. Speaking of framing the narrative, what do you think about the video's presentation? With hashtags like Tasker Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell, it feels like the content is deliberately positioned to capture a broad, almost sensational audience.
Yeah, it's like the media loves to bundle these cases together because it grabs attention. And there's a sort of, I'd say, an interlocking web of scandal that, when mentioned together, really turns up the heat on public interest.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And this bundling, while effective for viewership, might also dilute the complexity of the legal issues at hand. Do you think it risks oversimplifying what is, by all accounts, a very complex legal and political issue?
That's a fair concern. I mean, when you have these big names attached, the nuance of legal intricacies can get uh, lost in translation. It's almost like serving fast food instead of a gourmet meal. It gets the job done, but doesn't do justice to the depth of the
Right.
topic.
I'm with you there. And it makes me wonder if the Supreme Court itself might be aware of the media circus and will perhaps be extra cautious in how they proceed with appeals that have such a politically charged background.
That's an interesting point. The court, by tradition, aims to be above the media fray. Yet, when the stakes are this high, the optics matter a lot. And any decision could either restore faith in the judicial system or further inflame public skepticism.
Yeah. And what do you think about the likelihood of the Supreme Court accepting to review this case? Given the significant political and legal pressures, could this be seen as a testing ground for the court's willingness to tackle politically entangled cases?
Well, it's a tough call. On one hand, the Supreme Court does have the discretion to pick cases that can have wide reaching implications. On the other hand, they might not want to wade into what looks like a politically motivated appeal. It's a delicate balance.
Right. And that balance is crucial. It reminds me of past cases where the court's involvement led to heated public debates over judicial independence and political interference.
Exactly. And it's like history repeating itself, where the intersections of law and politics create these, very charged environments. And this case is a prime example with the added twist of recent media attention and social media hashtags.
Yep. Now, considering the potential ramifications, a reversal of conviction, or even a political pardon, what kind of precedent could this set for future cases? It almost seems like it could lower the bar for appealing criminal convictions on political grounds.
Yeah, that's a real possibility. If the Supreme Court were to entertain this appeal in a significant way, it might signal that even landmark convictions aren't entirely immutable when political dynamics come into play. That's both alarming and thought provoking.
And that really gets at the heart of public trust in the justice system. People start to wonder if high profile cases can be potentially rehashed through appeals and political maneuvers. What does that mean for everyday justice?
Absolutely. It's a reminder of just how interconnected the legal system is with broader societal issues. This isn't just a legal debate, it's also about accountability and the perception of fairness in a complicated power landscape.
So, where do we stand now? It sounds like the next steps are awaiting a response from the Supreme Court, and meanwhile, the public and legal experts alike are dissecting every little detail from those DOJ meetings and the potential pardon discussions.
Right, that's the key part. And while we wait for further developments, the discussion itself highlights the challenges we face when high-profile legal issues are so deeply entangled with politics. It's a situation where every move is scrutinized not just by legal experts, but also by the court of public opinion.
And that frankly makes the case all the more fascinating, doesn't it? I mean, the interplay of legal tactics, media framing, and political implications is almost like watching a high-stakes chess match in real time.
It really is. And even if you're not a legal expert, the layers of this case compel even casual observers to think about the broader impacts on our justice system and political integrity.
Yeah. I just hope that amidst all these strategic maneuvers and media spin, the focus on true justice remains front and center, especially for those affected directly by the crimes in question.
I agree completely. It's a delicate balance. We need accountability while ensuring that legal proceedings remain just and free from undue political influence. That's really the ultimate test here.
Yeah, and as we keep our eyes on the developments, it's clear that this isn't just about one verdict or one case. It's about setting precedents that could ripple through the entire system.
Exactly. And that's what makes this topic so compelling. We're witnessing history unfold in a way that challenges our traditional views on justice and political power.
Well, that's a wrap on today's discussion. It'll be interesting to see where this appeal leads and how, well, the balance between law and politics continues to evolve.
Indeed, it's a conversation that is far from over. Thanks for diving into this with me. Until next time, keep questioning and stay engaged.